That's so mean. That's so sad. Why would you say that? All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Oh.
Sorry, I was going to count us down. I thought a countdown would be appropriate, but we don't. Look at me, messing things up like always. That's my job.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite Monday morning podcast, The Reaction Phase. You guys know my name is Josh. I am here. I'm joined with the co-host with the most, celebrating a victory for the hometown home team. Mo, what's going on?
What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? How's it going?
Dude, everything is fantastic here. For those of you out there listening, watching, whatever you're doing, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that fun. And this week, we will have a bit of a shorter episode because for those who don't know, if you're listening to this on Monday, last Friday, I became a dad. Me and my wife welcomed our beautiful baby girl into this world. So far, baby and mama are doing great. Everyone is healthy as of the recording of this podcast. Everyone's doing great. So I want to record this and get back upstairs and hang out with my new little family.
See, he says that's the excuse, but in reality, Raiders won their first game, and I just want to go party. So, like, he can say whatever he wants, but I'm just going to go party. So, like, it's my fault, guys.
Listen, I pumped you up and said you were representing the hometown home team victory. You're wearing two different teams. Like,
yeah, the one team I saw in person last week after Nationals and my actual team. Like, you gotta rep the random Panthers. Like, they're bad. Just give them some love.
You're such a flip-flopper. It's almost as bad as you pumping Kano and then just quitting the event.
Kano.
That's awesome.
Kano.
We've got an awesome show planned for you guys today. We are going to talk about some tournament results, and we're going to culminate that in talking about kind of LSS's plan for organized play and plan for tournament play. And we're going to talk about kind of what comes next. We're reaching the end of that roadmap. LSS laid us out a roadmap. We're kind of reaching the end of it with Worlds coming around. We want to see how that went and what we're going to see next. We also want to talk about these new circuits that are popping up. Local communities, local game stores are creating circuit play and circuits kind of flying around. Is that the future? How are those going? We're going to touch on that. We will touch on the market. Spoiler alert, nothing's happening. Nothing is pumping. Every TCG market across the world is down. That is standard operating procedure at this point. And then, for the few that went back and commented on our live podcast from a couple weeks ago, we will go over the closing crazy comment section where we pick a comment out of the comment section and react to it for you guys. Remember, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you're tuning into this podcast, you have actually done a great service. There have been so many people that have got 5% off their singles order of $50 or more at minmaxgamesfab.com. It's insane. I visited MinMax the other day. I touched base before the baby got here to see how everyone at the LGS was doing. And boom, lo and behold, a bunch of you have been placing orders. So shout out to you guys. And if you have been ordering Fab singles and you're not using promo code HTTCG to save 5% off your singles order of $50 or more, why are you setting money on fire? Why don't you like money? Money is good. I don't understand it. But thank you guys so much for the support. Continue to enjoy this game, and let's go into some results. Mo, what are we starting with today?
That is me. We are starting with the Battle Hardened in Minnesota, eh? So there was 98 players at that event. The top 8 was 5-5, 2 Oldham, 1 Dash. Big change of pace from everything we've been seeing lately. Oldham versus 5 finals. Oldham takes that down. So even with those 5-5s, the control meta is still here. And then if we jump over to German Nationals really quickly.
Whoa. No. I get a chance to talk about the Battle Hardened.
I'm just going to run this down.
No, I get a chance to talk about
it. Gas, no brakes.
Listen. I'm a dad now. I make the rules around here. You're grounded, sir. You are. This is ridiculous.
I'll just make my bed. Is that what I should go do?
Never. Not on this podcast. Never. You practiced that A like for a couple of minutes before we started this pod, and you nailed it, dude. It was spot on. It was very impressive. So the 98 player Battle Hardened in Minnesota, not Michigan. Before the pod, we were like, Minnesota, Michigan. We don't know our state acronyms because we're not Smart. This Battle Hardened breaks down a little bit differently than we saw with 5/5, 2 Oldhim, and 1 Dash. But, Mo, are we vindicated because Control still won?
It's hard because the aggro players are aggroing, right? Like you see those 5/5s, like you see them. They wanna be fast. They want to go fast. They want to get done with the tournament and go home and get some Switzel or whatever they want to go eat. Like they want to go do other things than play Fab. But Oldham's like, no, I'm still the best deck in the meta. I'm still here to win games. So like I think we're still in the Control meta, even if this top 8 has more aggro decks than Control decks. Oldham is still the deck to beat no matter what happens.
So I saw an interesting tweet, and I don't know who to credit this to. We think it might be user Druid on Twitter, but we're unsure. The statement was, and again, if it's not that user, if it's a different user, I'm so sorry. I've been a little preoccupied the past couple days. We saw that user say, unironically, why would anyone ever play Fi when Oldhim and Crown of Seeds are a deck? If Oldhim reveals Crown of Seeds, it feels like you can't play these aggro decks. And looking at this breakdown, again, nothing more. There's no footage that I've watched or anything. Just looking at the breakdown, it kind of indicates the thought like, hey, listen, Fi go burr. Fi can get you there. But as soon as you hit Daddy Oldhim, you run up to Daddy Oldhim, sooner or later, you gotta hit that brick wall and you gotta break through. And the deck does struggle to do so. I mean, 5/5s, not seeing the win, a little bit scary. Now, there was 1 Dash, and Mo, do you know, was this the same Dash that took down Easton? Was it that Ultra Control ridiculous Dash?
Sir. It was all breaks, no gas.
The all breaks, no gas Dash. Did you coin that phrase or did you steal that?
I just made it up just now.
You win phrase of the day, sir. That is impressive.
Oh.
All breaks, no gas Dash. Now, it's funny because I had people say, well, if it's Control meta and you have this Dash out there, Fis are going to struggle with that deck as well. But I disagree, and I think you might too. I think Fi has better run against that Dash deck than it does against Oldhim. What say you? And I'll say why afterwards.
This Dash deck is trying to prey on those slow Control decks. You can't out-slow a Fi deck without those ice cards. These Fis are just going to build up 5-card hands. They're going to build these Art of War turns and just go super wide, and you're going to leak damage. You're going to leak massive triggers. You're not going to have a good time. This Dash deck is specifically made to beat these Oldhims, beat these Icelanders, beat these Bravos, beat these slow Control decks. At Nationals, I was in a conversation with Jacob, who made top 8, who got top 4. And he even said, he's like, I can beat Oldhim, then I lose. Like, I don't beat the Fi deck. And so when the person that brought that deck says that, it says a lot. Like,
now, shout out to the Dash player for getting here. Maybe that means there was, more of a Control heavy meta getting up to the top 8, and some of these Fis did end up breaking through. But it feels like when you play Dash, you can't beat these hyper aggro, hyper go wide decks because of the fact that while you might run 25, 26, 27 defense reactions, whatever it is, you still have items in your deck that block for nothing. You still have to find these turns to set up, to build Voltron or whatever, to set up all of these items and build your ability to shoot pistols every turn for 3+. And if you can't do that, and if before you do that, you get caught on a turn, a go wide turn, an Art of War turn, get hit with a mass trigger with 2 items in your hand, that can just be the game. You can run out of time on the spot. So it's interesting. We say Control winter, but there's so many different flavors of Control, and now there's Control to prey on Control. It's getting out of hand.
It's a great place to be in, because when you sit down with this Fi deck, for example, there's 5 of them. Before the tournament starts, you are building your deck to either beat these Control decks or beat the aggro decks.
Yeah,
it is hard to do. Like, you can do little mid-rangey build with Kodachis in the sideboard, Ember Cleave in the main board to kind of do a little balancing act, but then you're just making your deck worse against both matchups. So I think you need to either go, I want to beat Oldhim or I want to beat the field. And it's just a gamble. It's which are you going to see more of? You can beat both, but you're not going to beat both consistently, which is the problem.
You're not going to beat both consistently. And you just mentioned it yourself. You can beat Oldhim, you can beat the field. And we are in a weird meta right now where people are just not convinced of the control winter. And because of that, these fields are varying wildly. I mean, look, right here in front of us, 5 aggro decks in the top 8 with, control decks still winning out. But we haven't seen a top 8 really shake out like this yet. This season since the Living Legend changes. So you kind of make that gamble, you get there, and then you sit across from the fridge itself, the Oldhim deck, and you're like, well, what now, right? So I just thought that was an interesting breakdown of this top 8. It's unlike those we have seen before. However, Oldhim, Old Daddy, still taking home the dub. Moving on, German Nationals, a couple surprises in there. And I want to see the look on your face as I break this down for you. 3 Icelander, kind of to be expected. 2 Oldhim, 1 Fi, 1 Viserai, and 1 Rhinar in the top 8. You're beating your chest. Brute fan?
The Brute is back. I'm just excited to see these fringe decks just pop out of nowhere and be like, hey, don't forget about me because I'm still here. It feels good.
Dude, it's such a cool pick. So going on, the Rhinar and Viserai are 2 that are obviously going to stick out to kind of us and to our listeners. We talked about this before with Viserai. Viserai feels like that aggro deck that just doesn't aggro hard enough. So to see that deck in here, you can assure that it's a high damage, mixed damage build to kind of tempo out these Oldhim decks, to race these Icelander decks. It exists in a really interesting position, so it's cool to see Viserai there. But Rhinar is kind of like that aggro Fi build you were talking about, right? You're kind of banking on the meta. When you take Rhinar to this event, you're saying, I'm going to see a bunch of Icelander. I'm going to see a bunch of Oldhim. I'm going to see a bunch of Jacob Bau's dash deck that is going to run all these defense reactions. Rhinar, in that case, says, on my big turns, I'm going to take away your hand, and you have to leak damage. And if I can cycle and find enough big turns where our life is close enough and really take that tempo, you can no longer afford to really fight fair and take it back. And I'm going to close this game out with a quad intimidate turn sooner or later. So I love this pick. And last week live, I think this was our pick. If we were going to break the meta and break out with one deck, I think we both landed on Rhinar. Lo and behold, German Nationals, there it goes.
Let's go, Germany. Woo! Making us look good. Yeah, this meta is, every Nationals top 8 has been so different with so many different decks in the top 8. It's great. Different decks are winning each event. Is it a control winter? Yes. But you can beat control decks if you figure out where to strike, how to play the matchup. This meta, it's not like super wide open, but it's not super closed either. It's in this nice little mid-rangey, like,
right,
not open, not closed section, which is great for the game.
And touching on what you said with Fi earlier, if you show up with the mid-range Fi, that's kind of good against both, right? Or the Fi that's super good against control and maybe not so good against aggro. Rhinar's not even a bad pick, right? Like, Rhinar can high roll you and have 2 Blood Rush Bellow turns in the top 5 turns, top 5 draws of the deck. And then once that happens, you have to start blocking on these aggro decks, and you just don't exist in a good spot. One more well-timed pummel, and you just never take that tempo back. There's too many 6+ attacks coming every single turn. So just like, kind of the differences between those Fi decks, it's a meta call. It's one that we on the reaction phase, I'd have to say, are big fans of, because I'm not saying we called it, but I'm going to go ahead and say we called it. Like,
I'm pretty good at this, Josh. I'm not going to lie, but calling stuff, we're good at that. Like,
especially when we like soft call it and just mention the hero's name, and then I claim that we called it. That is 100% the way to go.
For the record, I'm just going to say Kano, Icelander, Levi, Reinhardt, Dash. Just going to throw some stuff out there. Just
Azalea.
For the record.
Say Azalea. Say Azalea. Dorinthia.
No, we don't. Warriors don't do well in events. Let's be honest.
Oh my
Calm
gosh!
Down. No reason to mention that.
I was still having flashbacks of playing Dorinthia into that all defense reaction dash deck. Like,
Dory's a good deck. Winky face. Warrior's good. Smiley face. Play Warrior.
Laid on a little thicker emojis. All right, Singapore Nationals actually looks kind of familiar, just less exciting than the German Nationals, with 4 Icelander, 2 Oldhim, 1 Dash, and 1 OG Bravo. Now, if this dash is not a boost dash, again, it could be whatever. I'm assuming it's a controlled dash. This is the culmination of all that is Control Winter right here in a single top 8. Listen, if you sit down at Singapore Nationals and you get read the top 8, you know you're skipping dinner. Like, you're going to be here for a while. Like, it's going to take
What is dinner? What is time in a round? Like, we go to that every round. That's just a normal thing.
That top 8 kicks off at 8 a.m. and finishes at 8 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
Let's
page.
go.
There we go.
So this, we kind of pivot to full control here. And before we move on to talking about, kind of the culmination of organized play, the culmination of all these nationals and these sick events that we've been talking about for, frankly, months now, does anything need to be banned for Worlds? Let's give the people a preview, a little bit of the sauce, Mo. Worlds is coming up, man. It's not that far away.
Yeah. Worlds is coming up. Twitter is popping off lately with this needs to get banned, this needs to get banned, unban this, unban that.
the meme posts. Oh,
it's insane what people are saying. Some people like unban seeds, and I'm like, could you imagine playing against Fi with seeds? Not seeds. Pummel, Plunder Run. Oh my god, English.
Hey, we got there. Let's go.
Sorry, English. Been a long day. People are saying unban Plunder Run. That seems miserable. If every single card draws a card. I don't think you can unban anything right now besides like maybe Drone of Brutality. Like, just unban that card. There's no reason for that to be banned at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. But to ban something, the only card I could think to ban is Crown of Seeds. But does that nerf Control too much? I think Crown of Seeds was a mistake. I really do. I do not like that card as a Flesh and Blood card. I think it's too strong. I think it's way too good. But I don't think we ban it yet. I think this meta is still fresh.
Are you on drugs? Josh? Are you on drugs?
I am not. I think Crown of Seeds is a miserable card to play against.
Listen.
I think it's too strong. I think it is too strong.
Listen. I hate playing against Oldhim as much as the next person. Okay? And I think I have shown my colors in almost every video we've done recently about how much I freaking hate that deck. But there's no reason to ban Crown of Seeds. Look, the thing you need to ban is the rest of what Oldhim can do with one resource floating. That's the problem. Printing Oasis Respite and printing Brothers in Arms is a problem because it allows you to go further into the fridge. So if aggro stood a chance where your best bet was to race this Oldhim deck, Oldhim has more tools that he's currently not using very well, by the way. Some of these Oldhim decks are, a couple Oasis Respite, but very few Brothers in Arms. If the meta got too heavy aggro, there are more tools this deck could put in to block even more efficiently. Crown of Seas by itself is not that great a value. It's value, it's incremental value, but it doesn't blow you away. The argument I can see for banning Crown of Seeds is it does create what I would consider a kind of a toxic play experience, because every turn your opponent's doing that. It's a game action, it takes longer, and a deck that's already moving slows down a little bit, right? There's a physical action to perform. But no, I don't think Crown of Seeds provides too much value. It provides value, it's just not enough to be banned.
I think that is the strongest card Flesh and Blood has printed. That card is insane.
Really?
I think if every hero, I think if Icelander could play it, it would easily play it. Every deck that could play that card wants to play that card. Being able to cycle your arsenal, being able to prevent a damage every turn. I think turn a red into a blue, it's just so much value that it's just being able to pitch stack without them seeing.
But every
good.
control deck would play that card for sure. I could see that. Like, if not every, most. There's a dash definitely does, right? Because it gives you a chance to filter out items on those bad hands, those turns where you're stuck with items, you're taking a lot of damage. But listen, Briar has access to that card right now, and I'm constantly BM'd on for playing that. Like, these aggro builds will not play that card. So I don't think Crown of Seeds is a problem in that sense. And maybe the answer is banning a card from a deck, because you mentioned unbanned Plunder Run, and I was on record saying, hey, listen, Katsu did nothing wrong. A while ago, we got this Plunder Run ban that seemingly at the time came out of nowhere, and I was like, this is just a soft nerf to a hero that's seeing 5% play. It's just ridiculous. Why is Katsu getting Plunder Run banned? Now with Fi in the meta, I don't think you can play Plunder Run. It's just not a fair card, right? We agree there.
I think that card's busted. Like, Chain got that card banned for a good reason. Like, we cannot allow that card back into our meta.
But now with Adult Chain gone, if there was no Fi, or if you banned Plunder Run from Fi, you empower decks like Lexi and things like Briar to maybe have a little more run against these control decks. The problem is Fi. Like, Plunder Run in those decks just gives you gas against some of these more powerful control decks. Plunder Run in Fi is a guaranteed +3 draw card without fail.
Well, that's the same for Briar. I feel like Briar is also a big problem. Imagine Briar with Plunder Run. It's a non-attack action. Makes those quicken tokens. Going to draw you a card. That'd be busted. That'd be way too good.
It can, but I feel like Briar is less capable of just going burr every single turn and will require a little more setup where the deck cannot quite line up in the right way, right? You have more of a chance than that. Lexi the same way, right? Your Plunder Run turns could just not line up well. You could get few arrows, one arrow on a Plunder Run turn, whatever it might be, and then have to leak some more damage to get it off. Fi feels like it's like Oldhim. It can do the same thing every turn. It can do it efficiently. So Plunder Run, there's no detriment. There's no setup. If you draw it, it's not in your arsenal. Slam it and play it. It's still effective. So that's my take on Plunder Run. But I think, the overall consensus here between you and I is nothing's going to get banned before Worlds, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. If something did get banned, the only card I could see right now is Chrono Seeds. I wouldn't even call that like a good ban. But if they're gonna do anything, that's the only card that I can wrap my little brain around to say ban. Like, I don't see anything else. I really don't.
I could see it. I could see it. It would be interesting. I'm with you. I think there's no bans. I don't think Chrono Seeds needs a ban at this point. But if it gets banned, I don't think I would be like, WTF, mate, and go off the wall, right? I'd be like, okay, I was just on the wrong side of that one. I still wouldn't believe it needs a ban, but that would be fine with me. Okay, so all this talk about organized play made me think when we were doing the rundown for the pod that, what was it, a year ago? I'm going to say a year ago. I don't know when it was. I'm just going to say a year ago. A year ago, LSS laid out the organized play path for 2022, including all these nationals events, culminating in Worlds, all these different callings, everything like that. And we got this big organized play plan laid out in front of us. A year in, with everything almost wholly fleshed out, how do you feel about the organized play plan? How do you feel it's landed? Do you think it's doing exactly what we wanted to do? Give me your thoughts.
I am pretty supportive of this organized play plan. There's a few things I think needs to get fixed, but overall, I think they killed it. I think this was a great first year of Flesh and Blood in the tournament section. I think they promoted their events well. The events ran really well from everything I've been to. Like, the callings ran well, nationals ran well. Like, some hiccups here and there, but it's a growing game. They've handled bans pretty well, I would say. They've admitted when they've made a mistake, which is great. They've openly said, I've made a mistake, which is great. I think the biggest problem, though, and something we need to address sooner rather than later, is one, we need to use ELO more. Like, we have ELO for constructed and limited. Let's actually invite those good players to events. Two, 90-day XP is a joke. Let's get rid of that. I don't think that should be invited for any more tournaments. That's a joke. I think it's a terrible way to get invited to a tournament. So I think those two. And three, let's get rid of gifting PTIs. There's no reason to be able to sell a PTI. If you earn it, use it. Like, no reason to sell PTIs. Those are my three biggest things. And fourth, want to go forward, let's announce events sooner. I hope that at Worlds they go, this is the event schedule for the next 6 months. We'll update you 3 months in for the last of the year. Or just, here's the whole year of events. Plan your life. Put your vacations in now. Like, let us know. Like, those are the 4 things I want to know. Money is a money. And if you announce events super late, I can't go. So, like, please.
I think the quote there that we need you in the comment section, if you're here right now, I think the quote was, money is a money. And money is in fact a money, and as you know, with Mo money there is Mo Bogsley. So
more money, more problems.
You're ridiculous. So I want to touch on a couple things you said. First and foremost, let's start from the back and go. Let's work our way backwards. planning events earlier, I don't think there's anyone in the community that will disagree with you. The only pushback I could see is the later we plan events, it allows us to slot new events in. It allows us to, at the last minute, get a battle hardened scheduled, get a calling scheduled, and throw it somewhere, right? However, I think there's a nice compromise here. I think we could still plan out a skeleton of events for 2022 to 2023, right? 2023 to 2020. Be like, these are our major events. This is your nationals. This is your worlds. This is where they're happening. Or, this is just the date. Or it's going to happen in September. Maybe it's impossible to do logistically because we're using local game stores. We're using places like that. It's impossible to do this far in advance, which, by the way, if they were to reach out to MinMax and be like, you're hosting US Nationals, MinMax would be like, good, we'll figure it out. We will make sure it happens on the day that you tell us. So yes, I think you have to work with the right partners there. However, we could still do that and implement these like spur of the moment events. Be like, hey, by the way, we got the okay, we've heard the interest. We're doing Battle Hardened Chicago, and it's in next month. And maybe those events are, more for a larger gathering of the local scene and kind of travel at your own risk type of thing. So I think we can have both and we can achieve a nice harmony there. I'm all in on you on there. Selling PTIs is interesting because the last thing I want to see is an event that takes a PTI to be empty, right? So that's the trade-off you get, is you have the possibility of getting 100-player PTI events that people just can't make it to, and there's nobody to fill those slots. And also, if you don't feel like you can go, do you grind as hard? Do you go to the events? Do you really push the player base and the game forward if you can't sell that PTI knowing you can't go? So I see what you're saying for competitive integrity. I like the non-transferable PTI, but for the smaller game, and I like to see full events, I like to see a bigger community, I'm actually okay with the selling of a PTI. Don't you think that would cause smaller events? And
the only events that really offer PTIs are Battle Hardens, Callings, and Nationals, right? So there's really no, the people that are going to those events want the PTI for themselves, unless you're like someone that has 6 of them right now.
Then why are PTIs being sold at all? Like, everybody who's going to those events don't want the PTI for themselves because they're currently being sold. Right.
Because money is money, right?
But then those people that are going just no longer would go because now there's no benefit for them. They don't care about the PTI. They care about the money. So they're not going. And then also the PTI event where everyone cashes those PTIs in and goes to that event, that's going to be a smaller event. It's going to be less hype. There's going to be fewer people.
I honestly disagree. I think the smaller events are more hype. When I think back of like other card games, when it's like a 36-player Worlds event with the best of the best, that is the stuff I want to watch. I want to watch the best players of the best, not the player who has the most money who can buy their invite.
Well, listen, the player that has their most money that can buy their invite, you're not going to watch. They're going to scrub out in day one. You're not going to watch that player.
Have you seen this draft format? You can get high rolled.
No, you don't get to have both. Flesh and Blood doesn't get to be the most skill-expressive game and give the best players the best chance to win, and say that people just blatantly buying their PTI are going to be on stream games in top 8s. If those players are buying their PTI and they're a fringe player that just maybe got some bad beats and only went to one event and couldn't get one, then you'll see them. But people who suck at the game and are just buying PTIs, that's not going to hurt the event. Someone's just going to have a soft round 1. Like,
it could hurt the draft though. It could send bad signals. There's a lot of stuff that could happen in that draft round that could hurt a good player.
Listen, good players can have bad drafts and send bad signals. That 100% can happen. So I want the big events. And even if it's capped at 300 people, right? So it's not like 1,000-person event. It's not 30, but it's not 1,000. Or let's say it's capped at 250, 300 people. I want all 300 seats filled with butts. Like, I want people in those seats playing Flesh and Blood, and if that means some people buy PTIs to fill out those early seats, then I'm all for that. So
I just think there should be some events at least Worlds that you can't buy an invite for. Like Pro Tours buy invites for, maybe Worlds you don't. Like,
sure, and maybe there is, maybe that's the compromise there, right? Maybe to keep competitive integrity, yada yada yada, whatever it might be. Maybe there is an event every year that you can't buy a PTI for, and they become less valuable. And I'd have to see how that shakes things out. But no, I'm okay with buying PTIs. I really like how the OP circuit has fleshed out, minus a few problems. I mean, we talked about it. I side with you on the planning events earlier. I would like to see more coverage. I'd like to see more communication. Now, LSS deserves a shout out because we on this podcast were like, LSS needs, like, why can't they be telling us top 8s? Why can't they be doing this? And then it's like they watch our podcast because they started doing it almost immediately. So
as soon as I got on the show, they started watching. They're like, that Mobogsy guy's pretty cool. I guess I'll tune in now.
Oh, I'm
I get
also
it. I get
a
it.
million. I'm also a millionaire. Are we just lying to the audience repeatedly?
No, we're not. Like, they're like, James White's our best friend. I have his phone number. I can call him right now if you want. Like, actually, the tall Timmy gave it to me, so like, I can just call James White and just like say what's up.
Name a quicker way to end up on a block list and probably on National Security Watch right there. So I think we'd like to see some changes there, but something that's really come to light for me is if we're going to continue organized play being the way that we grow our community, the way that we grow our game, I want to see these events heralded as more than the event they are. And here's what I mean. We have Worlds coming up, right? And there's probably some kind of calling or something, a battle hardened at Worlds. I want Worlds to be marketed as this is the culmination of Flesh and Blood. This is Magic Fest for Flesh and Blood, right? This is Command Fest for Flesh and Blood. I don't care who you are. Come to this event. We're going to have side games going on. We'll have open play spaces. We have ready to fire drafts. I want that to be the marketing. I don't think you need to market to the people playing at Worlds. You don't need to. Those people are going to play there. They want a shot at the title. They're the best of the best, and they're grinding for this no matter what. You could not advertise it, and most of you would continue to grind for it. That's what I want to see. I want to see these larger events, your country's nationals. I want to see even the bigger callings, Calling Vegas, heralded as this event. It's not the Calling Vegas, it's Fab Vegas. And in Fab Vegas, there is a calling, but there's also vendors. There's someone coming to do a show and tell. There's a cosplay contest. I want to see that marketing really hit the forefront and have the competitive play stuff step right behind that. Because I gave in, man. We're growing our game through competitive play, and whether I agree with it or not, that's what we're doing. I think this is a more efficient way we can hold on to the competitive play and still have a bigger, more open environment for the community.
Yeah, I think Vegas, for example, did great at that. Like, Vegas was so much of a come play Flesh and Blood and not care that much about professional play.
Ooh, which one?
I love about it.
Which one?
Las Vegas. The team event. It was like team event.
Yeah. Okay.
Like like I was there. Like, everybody was just jamming games and having fun with their friends.
Yeah.
Which I think if you're going to these Fab events, you should have a backup plan. You should have other stuff to do in those cities besides play Flesh and Blood. Turn these events into an experience.
No, your backup plan should be staying at the event and playing Flesh and Blood, or going into the cosplay contest, or watching the keynote speech at 2:00 from Alan Hale or whatever, or someone from the LSS team that give a little snippet of what's coming next, right? That should be your backup plan. Our goal should be how much of your attention can we keep at our event. Now, listen, would I still leave the event and go out and have a nightlife and stuff like that? No, because I'm a dad now, so I don't do that anymore. But I used to do that, and I totally get that. So I think we need to open our doors, and I've said it in the past, to the casual play community, and we need to find a way to bring them in. And PvE is coming out, hopefully this year. James White, let us know in the comment section if we're wrong. But it should be coming out in the next 365 days. And if that's the case, that's an awesome way to be like, hey, we're going to run a campaign over the event every day from 1 to 3. Because they said the PvE is like a campaign, it's WoW, like a dungeon and stuff. 3 days of campaign, and there's 7 of those kicking off throughout the weekend. Pick your time slot and get in on your campaign, right? Like, we could do that. That could bring people. Like, it's a reason to go back to the convention center for a day, do that, watch cosplay, then go do this nightlife that us dads know nothing about anymore, right? Like, stuff like that. I think there's work that needs to be done there. So I don't know. I think that's a nice way to grow the game. I think that's something we should lean into. That's just my opinion, though. What do I know? I'm just a content creator.
I forgot how to talk for a second. I was like, I'm a good comeback, and I just completely dropped the ball on that one. But no, like that'd be awesome. The dungeons at like different times and making it like a big weekend event to get people to come back over and over again. I love that. And I think that's a great thing to do in Vegas, just because I think Vegas is the best city for
It's
events.
Listen, it's a great thing to do in Chicago too.
Mhm.
You can do it in any of America's major cities. Like there's no reason you can't do one in Denver and have it be a little bit smaller, right? It's not that big of a deal. Like you can do all of these things. Like, okay, at this event, someone decides, hey, we're gonna break the world record for the most people playing Ultimate Pit Fight at one time. Pods of 4, like, and if you want to register, get in an Ultimate Pit Fight game, and we're gonna break that record. And then the next event's like, oh no, people, bring it on. We're breaking the Chicago record for the most people. Like things like that can sprout up. And it just gives the opportunity for the fun things to sprout up. And speaking of fun things sprouting up, you broached an interesting topic, kind of like this organized play circuit and changes we want to see. We're seeing changes in the way competitive players play Flesh and Blood. And a lot of that revolves around these store-centered circuits. So does this kind of do both what we're talking about? Does it lean into competitive play, but also kind of grow the game for the casual community, or does it not?
For the next topic is what we're talking about for the fab circuits. Yeah, awesome, cool. Making sure we're on the same page.
That's what's called a transition, Mo. You'll get there.
So I'm new to this whole content creation thing. Like, what's a transition? It wasn't in our notes. Like transition at this timestamp. Like, I need better notes from you. Like, I know you're a dad now, but like, where's the notes at?
To those watching, listening, however you're consuming the reaction phase, Mo gets all of the credit. Mo knew that I was busy. He wrote all of the show notes today, all of them by him. Like I did nothing.
One thing, if this show is great, it was all me. If it sucked, Josh wrote it. Blame him. I had nothing to do with this.
That was supposed to be props. I wasn't throwing you under the bus. But now that I think about it, yeah. If you don't like this episode, it was all Mo. All right. Anyway, new circuits. Is it the future?
So Ohio is doing great. They had an event a few months ago, and Ohio is having another event in 2 weeks, I believe. They actually had a battle harden for it. It's a 10K event. They have a battle harden now, and it's a competitive event. They're gonna be they hired some of the best casters in the world. So there's gonna be casters to be streamed. It's basically like a mini calling that this little Ohio team built, and then they have a speakeasy. But like after the event ends, they have an open bar that if you're 21 or older, you can buy your tickets and you can just draft. It's unlimited drinks and unlimited drafting all night long. And that brings this nice casual and competitive players together. Do you not know about this? You look so surprised.
No, that's fantastic. That's amazing. That's so
I think
good.
It's like Realm Games or something. I met the guy that's running it actually at Nationals. He's such a nice guy. But like these circuits of just game stories saying, I'm going to make an event and I'm going to make it the best event I can will help grow the game. Because guess what? I want to go to a random city in Ohio. I don't like Ohio. There's nothing to do in Ohio.
Even LeBron left Ohio.
Exactly.
Twice.
The only thing that Ohio has is that sick Bengals field and those sick jerseys. Like there's nothing else to do in Ohio.
I hear they have an indoor one now, finally.
Do they? Side note, but
yeah.
But like these store owners, like if MinMax starts their own Chicago circuit, if Ohio starts a circuit, if Star City Games, that's what they did for Magic, and they did their own SCG tour for Flesh and Blood with his side events all day. There's this, there's that. Just getting the community together without LSS, like doing all the work. If the small people, kind of boost ourselves up and we support each other, we can grow this game together. And I think that's the future of Fab.
So the only problem with that, like, I love everything you're saying, and like it's such a great theory. If it's not run properly, it's often run at a loss for the store that's running the event. And that means the store has to say, I'm here to prop this community up, to give my players a good place to play and create this awesome experience at a loss for myself. And most game stores don't have that option, right? Like most game stores can't just willingly take this loss. So while this is a really cool concept, I don't think it's something we can reliably lean into as far as consistent ways to grow the game, because that event can fall apart as soon as that store falls on hard times, right? If it's not organized and ran mathematically well enough from a financial standpoint, and that event falls apart, that then maybe has an adverse effect. It runs for 3 months, it runs for 2 years, and then disappears. So I love where your head is at. I'm all in. I would just encourage anyone who's looking into doing this to know that, I mean, it's a pretty well-known fact. as a store, you don't really make your money at events, right? You make your money on product releases. You make your money when people come in and draft. You don't really make your money at like constructed events and stuff like that. So just be cautious, but in the hands of the right game store, you mentioned in the hands of someone like MinMax, an event like this could be just insane. And the notion of like a speakeasy afterwards with like an open bar, we're like, you and I, because you go to the event with your friends. I'm rambling at this point, but you and me go to the event together, and then we split off, right? Because we're all playing at the event at different tables. Then afterwards, we meet back up and we draft for a couple hours and have some drinks. Like, dude, big dub.
And you meet new people, you meet new friends, you make these last-longing connections. That guess what? You do bad, you can go to the football game with someone you met at the last event and just have a great time. Like, I love it. I love everything about this. So
yeah, I think this is a really good opportunity. I don't know. Again, I'm only pushing back at it as it. Or against it as a consistent way of growing Flesh and Blood, because it's so much financial responsibility on the store, on the host, and we've just seen that not go so well, especially in other communities as of recent. There's been some 20K drama going around. I think there was a Magic event, a store was running a 20K, and someone did the math on the prizes that were paid out, and it was only like 14K of prizes paid out, and they were like, where's the other 6K? Like, what's so it does.
Yeah, no, I was looking at Nerd Rage Gaming personally, who's been doing the Magic circuit for like 4 years now.
No, that is not. Yeah, I love that series.
My brain was going to them of like how to like they built a Magic community themselves, and now they have like the most successful Magic circuit I think going on right now.
Yeah,
and
the
like,
energy series is
Fab,
tight.
Like amazing.
Yep, you are only a couple 8 months behind me, because I actually approached Nerd Rage about a Fab circuit like 8 months ago. It was something. It was something in the plan. So, but again, in the hands of the right store, it's definitely something that can go down. And the circuit I was talking about, by the way, it was not the NRG series. I'm not naming the circuit, but I can tell you it was not the NRG series. The Nerd Rage guys are local to us. Just they're good people too. I love playing there. Played there several times. Love those guys over there. So not their series. You said their name after I talked about a failed series.
No,
I would be like,
I was
oh no,
them up. I was trying to hype up how good they were, because like they're just amazing.
No, you did a great job. I was like, oh, maybe I just talked negatively too close to a series that I actually really enjoyed. It was really good. So I don't know. That's kind of our thought for the game going forward. And this is kind of a shorter episode because I want to get back upstairs to my family. So for you guys tuning in, thank you so much for being so patient with me in the last couple weeks and the coming weeks as I transition into this like role of fatherhood to this beautiful little girl, and being there with my wife as we go through all kind of the steps of being first-time parents. So huge shout out to you guys. And Mo, the people I work with, huge shout out to you for like helping me out through this time, because as content kind of takes a hit as this transition is made. So huge shout out to you, the Ascent guys, Louis over at Kitchen Table TCG, all of those guys just for helping me keep going as I make this transition. So thank you all so much. You gave me stink face. What was that all about?
Yeah, your name on Facebook for me has been FAB Dad since I've met you. So saying you're just starting fatherhood is kind of messed up, because like I've been calling you dad for like years now. So just saying. So in the comment section, I have to know, because we had this debate earlier. It hasn't really. Did you set my name as Fab Dad? You don't see it. Go to your name, and if you click change nicknames, I'll literally send a screenshot right now. It's in Fab Dad forever now. I thought you didn't know? You never noticed?
No. I had no idea. I just see it
like that for months. Ever since I met you, I was like, I'm gonna call him Fab Dad. I just sent it to you on Facebook so you can confirm.
Listen, man, you're ridiculous. I want to know from you guys, is it more true now that I am a father? So am I Mo's Fab Dad, or is it less true? And for the person in the comment section whose comment we're not going to use, I will not be doing a Mo Bogsley diaper change stream, and I don't know what corner of the internet that comment came from, but we're gonna stay out of that. I don't like that corner of the internet.
$100.
What?
$100 is $100.
$100 is what we call not enough. Finally, we're going to close this podcast with the closing crazy comment section, where we give you guys a voice and react to some comments you leave in the comment section. If you want to be featured on next week's episode, leave a comment in the comment section of this podcast. Let us know about anything that you thought about during this podcast, or anything at all. We'll read it. We'll kind of assess it. We're going to pick a couple. Mo, who is your comment?
So I was going back and forth between two of them. I'm going to go with Levi, good old Levi. And what Levi said is, I had the pleasure of playing against Chris round 11 in the calling for our win-and-ins. Regardless of the result, it was an awesome experience to play against him. Definitely a well-deserved top 8. And I want to pick that out because, like, when we're picking, I'm not saying we because I was like one of the last members picked, but when Team Ascent is picking their members, we choose community members like up top. Like, yes, you'd be a really good player, but if you're not a good community member, we don't want you. Like, if you're not going to treat every opponent with massive respect when you're woofing on Kano activations, like, get off the team. We don't want you. Like, community is number one to us. So that means a lot for Levi to say that. Like, a winning in for top 8 is so much stress at the calling. Like, hey, Levi, congrats to even getting that far. Like, congrats. And, like, I'm just saying, like, the fact that there was a positive match around 11 is insane to me. Like, I love it. I love it so much. So,
dude, you're so right about that. The later in the tournament, even positive matches that you lose, you just look back on with this negative mindset. So yeah, big shout out Levi, big shout out Chris. I've been saying it for months now. Like, listen, I'm a channel that's grown fairly large in Fab community. I started with Fab only. That's how I started. That's how I got my growth. I started with 0 subscribers back. Or John and I started with 0 subscribers back in the day. So when I was going to pick a Fab team to work with, it was important to me that not only they be great players, but just great members of the community, because that's what my channel is about. More so than just top level competitive play. It's about this community. And so big shout outs, comments like that are just awesome. You love to see them. And you picked a great comment, but I'm going to pick a better one from Bobby Vance. Had such an amazing time at Nationals. It was my first event and I stuck to the side events, but this community is so welcoming. It's amazing. MinMax was the GOAT, got a big box of Monarch for a good price and cracked a cold foil Dynamo. Lots to unpack here. First of all, congrats on your first event. Side events at major events is something I want in the spotlight. You, Bobby Vance, are the reason I want those events in the spotlight, to bring people into our community. MinMax is, in fact, the GOAT from a completely unbiased source. Imagine that. And someone excited to crack Monarch and get something sweet just warms my heart. This whole comment, top to bottom, is gas. This is all gas, no breaks. It's the opposite of your Oldham take, which I'm 100% stealing going forward.
I love it. And as an actual unbiased person who's not sponsored by MinMax, I think MinMax is great too. Like,
you sent me a selfie in a MinMax polo the other day.
At work. I was at work wearing a MinMax polo that they gave me back when I was in Chicago. Yeah, they held my luggage at the event so I could go see the football game. Like, they're just amazing people. Like, I love MinMax. MinMax is 10 out of 10. Love them. And really fast, one more shout out in the comments. Shout out to Trevor Ruff, who just hung out in the live stream with us, just had a great time. So I just want to give Trevor a shout out, who watched the live stream and then came back in the comment section and left a comment as well. That means so much to us. So thank you.
Yeah, that was insane. So guys, again, thank you for hanging out on the pod. If you remember to click like, comment, share, subscribe. Actually, clicking the share button does so good for the podcast. If you like watching this podcast, share it with your group, share it with your friends, share it with whoever you think will enjoy this content. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh.
I'm Mo Bogsley.
I'm going to go change poopy diapers, dude, and I'm excited for this out of here.
I'm out.
I'm out of here. Take it easy, everyone. Goodbye.